Hi everyone. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Lindsay Castiglione. I am an IBCLC, a mom to two sets of twins, and I own Full Hearts Collaborative, which is a prenatal multiples education resource and also a lactation private practice. Today I want to talk a little bit about tandem feeding. I think the assumption is with a lot of expecting twin parents is that if they plan to breast or chest feed their babies, that they are going to be feeding them tandem or at the same time all the time. I have found in my experience with clients that if they go into this experience with that expectation and just kind of force tandem feeding every single feeding time, likely what's going to happen is they are going to get frustrated and kind of get on the road to burning out, which is definitely not what we want. With twins, most of them are born preterm, so prior to 37 weeks. Because of this, their mouths tend to be really tiny. They're not super organized with their feeding patterns, so their suck, swallow, breathe pattern is not always reliable. And what we end up seeing is kind of a lower rate of milk transfer for preterm babies, which means they're not getting as much at the breast as they would if they were a little bit older, it's stronger, more efficient. So because of that, it's really important to concentrate on one baby at a time in the beginning. Really work with that baby, make sure that their latch is correct, that they're getting a nice full mouth of breast or chest tissue, and that they are taking in enough milk over the course of a feeding so that they're giving you really good diaper output. So we're looking for 6 wet and 3 to 4 plus bowel movements per day, and for them to be meeting their weight milestones at the pediatrician. So if we are kind of on the right track, we're not having pain, things are going well with the diapers and the weight, like I just mentioned, then we can really get to work on tandem feeding. In the meantime, from birth, I do recommend trying tandem feeding once a day. So this is mainly just practice. We're just trying to feel it out, see where the progress of the individual feedings is translating into those tandem feedings. And then once we feel like things are kind of settling down and we've got the hang of nursing one baby at a time, then we're going to take another individual nursing session and switch it into a tandem feeding. And so now you're doing 2 a day. And then a few days later, once you feel like that's going well, then we're going to switch for a third feeding, tandem feeding of the day. And continue on until you are doing the majority, if not all, tandem feedings. I usually recommend to start this in the morning. That's when we have the most milk volume. The babies are typically happier in the mornings, and they don't have that whole overstimulation thing that can happen as the day goes on. So starting in the morning with the tandem feedings is probably going to be your best bet at having a successful feeding. So there's definitely lots of benefits to tandem feeding. Obviously the time takes about 20 to 40 minutes for babies to nurse in the beginning when they're newborns, and especially for those preterm babies. Once we are tandem feeding, we can basically, eliminate a whole second set of that 20 to 40 minutes. So we're only looking at one cycle of that. But, it is important to kind of watch all the indicators and make sure that we are working on tandem feeding when we feel ready and when the babies are showing us that they're ready. So for more information about breastfeeding and pretty much all things multiples, please follow me on Instagram and on Facebook at Full Hearts Collaborative, and feel free to reach out with messages if you have questions. Thanks so much.